Hey everyone, Tom Drapala here, registered Social Security analyst, helping families with their Social Security planning so that they can live financially free and enjoy the peaceful retirement that they deserve. Today we're going to be talking about Step 2, Part 2 in calculating your Social Security benefits. If you missed the first video, Step 1, feel free to go back and check that out. That's going to be the first step in calculating your Social Security benefits. Again, this segment is going to be separated into 3 separate videos, 3 separate steps in calculating your benefits. The first step that we'll recap today was what years count in your Social Security calculation. And that would be your highest 35 years of indexed and face value earnings. Okay, so the second step we're going to be talking about today is understanding AIME or AIM is the terminology here. So AIME stands for Average Index Monthly Earnings. And we're going to talk about that today, followed by Part 3, Step 3, in the next video, which is going to be about PIA, Primary Insurance Amount. We're going to talk about that a lot more in the next video, but for now, we're going to keep it to recapping Step 1 and then going right into Step 2 of calculating your Social Security benefits. So, again, if you missed the first video on calculating your benefits, it's based on your highest 35 years of indexed and face value earnings. If you don't know what that means, please go back to the first video and you will be able to understand exactly what that means. But essentially, all of the earnings that you have on your earnings record from age 59 and before through the beginning of your career are indexed for the inflation factor for that specific year. And if you have earnings from age 60 and on, no matter what age you are up to, you can work until 70, 80, 90, those earnings that you have will be taken at face value. So we'll take a look at that here on this chart, and that'll kind of segue us into understanding the AIM calculation, which is, again, average index monthly earnings. And that's the second step in calculating your benefits. So if you see here, the first column, we have the age of a specific person. Now, again, this chart is going to be a lot longer depending on if you've worked 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It'll be from the start of your career all the way through the present time. So in this particular case, we're just going to take a look at the last 3 years of a specific person, which would be age 58, 59, and 60. So, like we said, age 59, which would be here, and prior, all of the earnings that someone has are indexed for the inflation factor for that year. So we'll just look at an example here that this particular person at age 58 earned $30,000, at 59 they earned $35,000, and then at age 60 they earned $40,000. Now, once you put in the indexing factor for those specific years, again, if you missed the first video, go back and you'll understand what indexing means and really get an understanding of what the difference is based on your age and the year you were born, what the indexing factors will change. But for this particular case, for age 58 and 59, the indexing factor would be 1.05 and 1.04. Now, again, because age 60 and on is taken at face value, there's no more indexing. So the indexing factor is just 1.00, which multiplied by the amount you earned is just going to be that exact amount. So 59 before, you're going to multiply by the indexing factor for that year, and then age 60 and on, it's simply going to be the exact amount you actually earned, okay? So once you figured out all the indexing factors for those particular years, and then you multiply them, you get your indexed earnings amounts. And the highest 35 years of indexed earnings is what's calculated to figure out your PIA or your benefit at full retirement age. So essentially, we're going to talk more about PIA in the next video. But for those of you who don't know, PIA or primary insurance amount is a terminology that Social Security uses, which means that this is the monthly amount you'll receive at your full retirement age, okay? And that's how your benefits are figured using the PIA calculation. And again, this is how that is done, with the first step being the 35 years, the second step getting the sum, and then understanding how to get to the average index monthly earnings. So again, we started with Step 1, which was understanding which years count in the highest 35 years of indexed earnings. And now the second part here is understanding what AIM is and how to get there. So once you have all the highest 35 years of indexed earnings, that's going to be all the way in this chart here, and there's going to be a sum amount. Now, the sum amount is the total of the highest 35 years of indexed earnings. And for this particular case, based on all their years, not just the last 3, but all their years, their sum would be $2,300,000. Okay. Now, when you understand you got the sum, now the next part is how do we get to the average index monthly earnings? And what this means is they're just taking this sum amount of anybody who has the 35 years or even less, right? If you don't have 35 years, then whatever years you didn't earn, they do count as zeros. But essentially, no matter what that is, you get a sum amount. Now, once you have that sum amount, the calculation to get your aim is real simple. You take the sum amount and you divide it by 420. So we're going to divide this by 420. And 420 is the number of months in 35 years. So just getting a monthly average based on the sum amount here. So when you divide the 2,300,000 by the 420 months, that will give you your average index monthly earnings. So in this particular case, the average index monthly earnings are $5,476. So now you've figured out how to understand what years count in your high 35, how to get those years that you're going to sum up. And then the next step here is adding them all together and getting the sum of the highest 35 indexed years, and then dividing that by 420, again, the number of months in 35 years, to get your average index monthly earnings. Now, the average index monthly earnings is going to be very important for part 3. So if you need help with your Social Security, if you want to do the calculations on your own, we have our own Social Security planner that you can use. Only $35 to use this calculator. I'll put it in the description below as well as pinned in the comments, so you can click on that. But if you want to also work one-on-one directly with me and my team of registered Social Security analysts, if you want a full Social Security analysis and comprehensive plan, then I will put that link in the description and in the comments as well, and feel free to do that. Again, we're here to help you. If you want the help, if you need help with your Social Security benefits, this could be something that will really help you make those decisions. And again, we also have a Social Security planner where you can do things on your own. So however you feel comfortable, if you need the help, reach out to us, and we'll see you next time.